Oh, we're in.
We're in.
What's up, Emerald Coast? I'm Chris Seaman. This is my buddy Jake Mitchell. It's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Last day of June. We are halfway through the year. Did you know that
Wow.
today? Yeah. Do you want to take a moment to just think about that?
I've gotten so little done this year.
It's that, and it also feels like it's been maybe 4 years.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing where it's been, like you said, 4 years, and simultaneously sitting at home and doing nothing. It's been just the least productive year ever.
Do you remember how long ago it was that the Australian fires were the big topic?
Yeah.
Was that this year or last year?
That was beginning of this year.
Okay,
'cause they
good.
talked
There you
about
go,
it-
there you go.
There was a lot of talk about it during the Oscars.
Because I heard about it
Yeah.
in the news on the way here.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I knew, Jake, because I was trying to catch you there. But what's up, Emerald Coast? It is Tuesday. It's a hot summer day on the Emerald Coast. And we're going to talk a little sports today and go over some of the normalcy of our show. Glad everybody could be here to be with us today. And as always, if you got some comments, go to What's Up Emerald Coast and put it in the comments section in your social media page. Oh, it's social media. It's so exciting to say social media day. It's a big day. I think we got some our shameless plugs with our shameless plug coordinator. RJ, are you still here in the studio?
Hopefully I should be.
How come you don't get that console? Have you not worked your way up to that?
I'm getting there. I'm getting
No,
there.
I'm talking to Jake here. He only gets like 5 TVs, and you get all that. I want to bet on the 6th horse in the 3rd race at Pimlico.
Tis the law.
Yeah. So we got some shameless plugs, RJ.
Let's see if I can pull that up there.
All right. And so I can almost rattle them off. If you're watching us at home, you can be watching us on Facebook Live. What's up, Emerald? On Emerald Coast TV.
Wow, that's
Roku. On where's it at? YouTube.
Yeah.
Roku and Facebook, Emerald Coast TV, and of course we are What's Up Emerald Coast. So if you'll go and like that page, my mom and RJ's mom would greatly appreciate it because that would nearly double our likes. Or you liked it today, so I think we're up to or almost to a fistful.
Yeah.
But that's where you can find us to watch the show today and for some shameless plugs. And I think that's when he goes to that's where we all want to be. That is the epicenter of the Emerald Coast. CrabIsland.com. Yeah, it's a little personal to me. And but that's exactly the color of the water right now as the incoming tide, and it's going to be 90-some degrees today and lightly cloudy and basically a perfect day on the Emerald Coast. And the thing to do on the Emerald Coast right now is to be out there on a pontoon boat. So if you are that fortunate, enjoy. I'm jealous. I just have to say that I'm jealous. But you can watch the show from Crab Island. So enjoy while you watch the show. Any other shameless plugs, RJ?
Well, not at the moment.
Pretty much it. We don't have that pizza guy making food for us yet?
Not yet.
Nothing
We're
along
waiting for
that
that guy to open up. He keeps promising and he never delivers.
Yeah, the perils of being an entrepreneur. So one of the things we like to do, Jake, in case you don't remember, we kind of go through the days of the calendar from pre-pandemic life.
Yep.
We talk about these were the things we used to celebrate, and in case you forgot, along comes this COVID thingy, and these things during that time frame that you talked about that seems like forever. It's like the idea of when's the last time you watched a new release movie? Okay, exactly. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a movie buff, and I'm like going, oh my God, please, I need a movie of any sort. And but anyway, these are some of the things that we celebrated prior to this year, and we shall continue. But we're here to remind you. And these were not told to me, so here they come in a surprise.
Well, we don't really have a lot today, and no food for today, which is
I come here for the food, bro.
You came here for the food.
I mean, if I don't get paid, I want to eat.
You're be prepared to be disappointed.
I get a cup of coffee, and what's brought to you by the National Calendar Day, because originality is concealing your source, and we do like to basically borrow the days and acknowledge the National Day calendar provides these for us. So what do we got today, RJ? That looks cool. I took 2 years of
9 steps to watching a great night of viewing. And
9 steps. Now that's a calendar day.
that yeah,
The
believe it
9
or not.
steps or the great night. Now I took 2 years of astronomy just to get those science credits.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
I'm a nerd.
and they kind of, it's like the longest thing of, like
you sum
things,
up the 9
9
steps for
things
us?
you can do. Yeah, I sure can. One, check out a media shower, and they had like all these ones
Okay.
listed here. I'm not going to go through the names because I will,
can Google
I
them.
will gaff them.
Yeah. Gaff 'em.
Find a constellation map and just check it out.
Okay, astronomy 1 and 2.
Yeah. Pack your supplies so you can go out gazing.
Okay,
Try to avoid light pollution.
that makes sense.
Check out the moon cycles and
Yeah, you want to watch on it. You want to go gaze into the stars during the new moon.
during the new moon because you
Yeah,
have the
if
darkest
possible,
skies.
yep.
Yeah. Auroras are great things to check out,
But we
especially
gotta
if you're
be
up
way
north.
We live in
Otherwise,
Florida, not going to happen.
yeah, I think there's actually a live webcam for auroras if you ever want to check that.
There is.
Check your weather because you want clear skies.
That would help.
Yeah. Bring a friend because watching stars by yourself is boring.
It's kind of boring.
And just make it an annual tradition. So
There you go.
That's-
On this day,
that's-
this is now
that's
the
what this
annual
day is,
tradition
yeah.
of the 9 steps of nighttime viewing. And again, as a guy that did 2 years of astronomy, I highly encourage it. And you know what's cool about that? It's because of all the, you hear about the pollution because we travel less. So right now, nighttime viewing is at an all-time high. It's immaculate.
Yeah, I don't get to enjoy the full moon.
yeah, well, here's our favorite one for Chris.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice
I'm
reference.
slowly
get
making
it.
my turn.
I
Oh,
get
here
it.
you go.
I
It
get
is
it.
the social media.
What do you mean we don't have a
day.
good one today, RJ? That is the epicenter
I just said
of
that-
it all.
I just said there was no food.
That's okay. That is enough to chew on for anybody. Social Media Day. Now, is that brought to you by anybody? Brought to us by
Not
me?
particular, but it all kind of started back in, was it 2002
So is
with
this the day that
Friendster,
Friendster started?
2003 with MySpace,
Is this the day Friendster started? Does
and
it say
then
that?
I don't know if it's the day it started. It's just the day we celebrated, and then
Halfway
and then
through
of course
the year.
Facebook. If you watch the social network, around the 2004 timeframe is when it came out as the Facebook.
So does it advise us on how we celebrate Social Media Day? Is it we should avoid social media for all one day? I believe a lot of my followers would hope I do that. It ain't gonna happen though.
Well, it all depends on your stress level. Either you want to relieve some stress and rant, or you want to just share happy cat videos
or you
and
find
stuff
therapy
like that.
in it. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can say there. But I will say this, this show is brought to you by the internet. So, and social media drives it and fuels it. It fuels any business you got going today. It's become, as an entrepreneur, a critical pillar within building any concept and brand. And so, your show, you do your stuff on social media. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm torn on social media.
Okay.
There's a lot of great.
But
that
you're
comes-
young. You've grown up with it.
Yeah. There's a lot of good that comes from social media and a lot of bad. There's been a lot of good. in
Which
the-
reflects society prior to social media.
It does. Like over the last couple of months, over the last few weeks, really, when
Yeah.
we've had a lot of the protests,
A lot of stuff going on.
and just a lot of. It's a big moment in American history, really, right
Sure.
now. So it is. It's been cool that we can communicate through social media. That we've torn down the barriers of time and distance, and just having the one phone. But man, you gotta.
A phone. Oh, this thing.
Yeah, just
This digital.
the dial up,
Yeah. Oh, those things.
It's
the cord.
just it's so much easier now.
Did you have a phone with a cord as a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I had 2 cans and a string.
yeah.
I can only talk to my neighbor.
I had it was a huge deal when I got the Motorola Razor.
Oh, wow. I remember those.
4th grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
forget what it was I had before. They called it the Firefly.
Yeah.
Where it was your parents had to put in the phone numbers. And
Yes.
They were the only numbers you could call.
Yes. Yes.
But I think it's social media. You weigh the good with the bad. There's a lot of toxicity out there, but I think what it comes down to is we can communicate so easily now. And I think ultimately that's a good thing.
I appreciate the fact you say there's a lot of toxicity, but there's also a lot of beauty in the thing of social media. I'm not lost on the irony is the wrong word, but it's the if you step back and look at, just as you said, the time we are in our American and the world history right now, this pandemic has brought us kind of all together to realize, as we just talked about with the way the air started to clear, because less travel, less manufacturing for a brief moment of time. Is it going to change the climate? I've already seen reports. It was like a dimple on a golf ball. It was not much, because it's nothing set to be a permanent fix. But if you look at, we just talked about how it seems like time of this year, the 6 months has felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Yet so many events are happening that are world changing. Social injustices being discussed. The political, everything politicization that goes with the pandemic and how we manage the virus in our own society, sports, which we're eventually going to get to in a minute, and all those things are big social media topics. So when you combine them in this time of, we have a lot of time at home with nothing much to do.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't have jobs, or even our jobs are now putting us at home. All of a sudden, that social media, both the toxicity and the beauty of it, is even more exponentially part of our lives.
Yeah.
Because it's not only all we have, but it's also being fueled by events. I personally love the way that you start to see social media and technology become part of your daily routine. Not because I pick up my phone and I choose to go to a platform and make a comment or follow somebody or friend, but when you go to a theater or something like that, if we get to go to a theater, and you buy a ticket and it knows what you're going to like. I mean, that's Big Brother. No, that's a corporation watching you. But it does feed you the things you want that becomes, so if you like this Ryan Gosling movie, right, we were joking about earlier, what other Ryan Gosling movies? Boom, there they are, all 10, 20 of them that he's done. So if you really want this information, it's there. I love the accessibility of information. I've many times made the argument that I am the smartest parent on earth as far as encyclopedia goes. All I have to say is, give me a second, son.
Yeah.
And I go over here and I Google it and go, the square root of is. And I love the internet's, the purpose of the asset that it is. And if you can use it for that tool, it can enhance your life. So.
Well, and like my usual rotation on a daily basis is I wake up and the websites I'll check are, the ESPN, the CBS Sports, all the sports stuff. And then I'll scroll through Twitter. And if I'm just going ESPN, CBS, checking sports sites, then I'm not really learning much about what's actually
outside
going on in the country, and I'm stuck in my bubble. Social media, I'll scroll through my Twitter feed, and it's so much more than just sports. Like I follow mostly sports accounts on Twitter, but a lot of those people have gone, hey, we're involved in the protests, and here's a retweet of a really important article about social injustice, and systemic racism, and stuff like that. And so it exposes, even if you are a sports fan who is just a nerd who's I'm just gonna follow the guy that tweets
I want to
about
know where
defensive stats.
I want to know what Brady's doing, but all of a sudden now I'm finding out what Congress is doing.
Yeah, so it's more than just going to a website and seeing an article that a person wrote about sports. It's getting to know people. Like there wasn't really much closeness between us and the people that we watched on TV for a really long time. But now I can log on to Twitter and I can, I know, let's just go Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
That'll be the example. Like one of the guys I follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But I cringe.
He's a character.
He is.
They all are.
They all are. He works the old school studio presence and puts it social media worthy.
Yeah.
Very well.
But I just, I think we know more than just, hey, this is the show that this person does.
Sure.
This is what this person finds important. This is what this person's interested in. This is what this person cares about on a human level. So I just think it's cool that we have more accessibility to the people that we follow, that we watch on TV, that we go see in the movies. And I mean, I like knowing, this guy, I'm not a big fan of this guy because, it turns out this guy's, got some pretty, weird opinions going on.
Right.
So
And that leads to one of the words of caution I say, as you put it there. I love saying the phrase now, consider the source. That's
Yeah.
the hard part of social
Yeah.
media is that people go, well, I read this. Well, there's a reason why they say because you saw it on the internet doesn't make it
Yeah.
true. And I'm not one to sit here and say this source is valid and this is not. A lot of people debate that with me
Yeah.
often, and I try to cross-check sources. I'm not a reporter per se, but I try to find it for the purposes of an intelligent argument. And at the same time, the internet and social media allows you to find out that Ezekiel Elliott is half faded as he leaves his screen on. See, sports segue there for you.
Yeah.
I did that. I'm learning because I could have cared less. I had to realize what half faded even was until I had to Google it. I'm like, oh, I've been super faded. I get it now, and I'm going. Really, Zeke? I mean, come on, man. If maybe you shouldn't be on social media when you're even remotely faded, because that's the last thing you want to do when you're looking to make 20-some mil,
Right.
and you're playing for America's team. I'm just saying, okay? And we can go on and on about it's kind of comical when those things.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin is, you can see a Twitter feed that happens between Ice Cube and who was in a battle with Chris Cuomo.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, now a topic, though, of anti-Semitism becomes a relevant thing. So if you're just there because you like Ice Cube and you were watching Straight Outta Compton, next thing you know, you're learning about more culture, religious presence in our country, and you're going, wait a minute. Maybe Ice Cube was a little madder in that group than I thought he was. Maybe there's more to him. And I want to go, Ice Cube, you're welcome to come on the show and explain it. I'm a fan. I've been a fan, but I read that this morning, and just like you said, I'm starting to go, I wonder, I need to look at some more.
Well, this is one of my favorite interactions on Twitter in the last couple weeks was Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine tweeted something political, right? And, they're very left, very, I mean, you listen to Rage Against the Machine lyrics and you know exactly where they come from politically. A fan replies to Tom Morello and says, I just can't believe that you would inject this political BS into music. Music is my happy place. Music is my safe place, and you've ruined it. And Tom Morello replies, what lyrics have you been listening to for the last, 20 years?
All of his lyrics.
I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I saw a quote the other day from somebody, and it was, people keep saying in this movement of social injustice and we're kind of enlightening to it, that all these people are saying, oh, we need to listen, we need to be educated. And it's like, well, you were at a Kendrick Lamar concert 2 years ago. What do you think he's been rapping about? What do you think these entertainers have been talking about?
Hey, Jake, I'll say this. The internet, social media can make you smarter. It cannot prevent you from being stupid.
Yeah.
So with that being
way
said,
to put it.
let's. I tried to do a nice little segue there, and then I unsegued myself when I threw out the Zeke post. So my big question I always love when you come on here is point blank: are we going to play ball?
That's what it looks like. Adam Silver said in kind of talking about the virus that this is something we're going to have to learn to live with.
Okay.
So what it looks like the NBA's attitude is that even though there's risk, even though the state of Florida has seen an increase in cases in the last week or so, even though there's been a few players that have tested positive, the NBA's attitude is we're going to play.
Will those players play?
If
they've tested positive, or are they quarantined for a period of time? I don't know the protocol.
I believe the quarantine is 2 weeks. DeAndre Jordan of the Nets tested positive.
That's like a third of the season.
Yeah, it is. DeAndre Jordan of the Nets tested positive. He's not going to play. Spencer Dinwiddie of the Nets tested positive, and he wants to play. So when he's done quarantining.
So as a sports guy, and you can be very. I've heard you and your takes on and predictions are pretty solid. I mean, I've enjoyed them. But if all of a sudden it seems like there's already going to be an asterisk at the end of whoever the Wizards are the champions, okay? Hey, one can dream, right? I mean, are we in the
better chance than the Hawks?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Only because I have a better chance than the Hawks, so there's no Hawks takes, it's all Wizards takes. Let's say the Wizards are champions and they get an asterisk next to it, not because they're the Wizards, but because it's this year. But they do so because even the Wizards team doesn't have their best players. Are there asterisks within the asterisks? And I segue that into baseball as I look at RJ has up on the screen. Zimmerman is one of the studs for the, I think the Reds was he not, or the Nationals?
Yeah.
And so how is that going to fare? What's the point if all these guys, the key guys, aren't playing, other than to say we're just playing a game?
Well, I think it's kind of a case-by-case basis. You know, baseball, the Nationals are a very good team. They won the NL East last year, so missing a key player is pretty important. You look at the NBA, and there is a little bit of a divide, right? You had a Lakers role player, Avery Bradley, who decided to sit out. He's being replaced by J.R. Smith, but you've
Isn't
still
he
got
like 50?
JR. I think he's got the mind of a 50-year-old.
Okay, fair enough.
But JR, the Lakers,
I'm thinking of a different J.R.
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah.
I think way back in the Knicks or something.
it's the Lakers, right?
Right.
The Bucks it's pretty much entirely the Bucks. It's entirely the Rockets. It's entirely the Raptors. So in the NBA, you've got a lot of players from fringe teams that have decided to sit out, or fringe players on the best teams.
Okay.
But you're still, when we get to the NBA Finals, we're still going to have the LeBron James versus Giannis Antetokounmpo showdown.
Is that your prediction right here now?
Um,
We're prepared for that, were you? Huh? Come on here and you say that, I'm going to just question the fact that my Wizards are clearly out of it already in Jake's mind.
Okay, here's my prediction. It's going to be the Lakers or the Rockets out of the West.
I'm going to go with the Rockets this time because of the sprint capability.
That's a good point. I think the Rockets they play small ball, right?
Right.
They don't have a guy over 6'6".
That's right.
So it's what they do is spread out teams.
Yeah.
And the Lakers are big. You know, it's 7-footer and JaVale McGee, 6'11" Anthony Davis, and then LeBron at
I get
small
it.
forward.
I get
So
it.
I think it's going to be the Lakers or the Rockets out of the West, and I think you're going to have either the Bucks or the Raptors out of the East.
Fair.
So I'll give you a 14 window because I can't go specific because we
That's
don't
right.
know
That's good.
we don't know how this format is really
We'll do
going
it
to
next
play
week.
out.
We'll do it next week. I'm just going to point out that you can tell by my physique, I was a basketball player. I always got to be a center, and that's what you have when you're a fat kid.
Just go in there, use up your 6 fouls.
Yeah,
Use up
and
6
but I
fouls,
think that's
grab
what
some
you're going to
rebounds.
see in the NBA is that the big guys are not going to be tuned up for the caliber of play necessary, and the guys that are right now, Harden is sitting somewhere shooting 1,000 three-pointers. He needs a guy over there socially distancing with, I don't know, sanitizing the ball or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Even Harden goes and retrieves his own ball.
Yeah.
He can practice his craft.
Yeah.
Okay. The better example would be Curry, if their team was worthy,
Yeah.
would be practicing his craft, and he alone can light up and win a game, maybe even win a series when he plays the way he plays. But you're going to see that Anthony Davis, I think Anthony Davis is, could be the next 10 years in the NBA. But I don't think Anthony Davis finds his ability to get into shape to not do petty fouls and then to not get a unnecessary injury by chasing that asterisk title. And so your prediction of, throwing in Houston, that team spreads them out and shoots.
Yeah.
And I think that's who wins the championship with an asterisk.
There's no better team for the social distance era than the Houston Rockets.
That's where I'm going.
They don't have a center.
That's where I'm going.
PJ Tucker, I guess, is the center.
That's why I thought my Wizards had a chance.
Yeah.
That's the only theory I've got
But,
about the Wizards.
The East is a little bit more of a crapshoot because, the Bucks were unquestionably the best team in the regular season. But when they get to the playoffs, they've shut down offensively.
Correct.
They haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs. Giannis hasn't been dynamic
Has he
enough
been
offensively.
practicing? I mean, how does he practice? That's the perfect opposite of what I was saying with Harden. How does he practice his game, which is in the paint and getting rebounds? Yes, he can shoot, but he gets in the mix. How do you practice that? That's like an NFL guy going, we practice. When we get in a game, that's a different level of competition, and that's what you're looking for. And I don't know how these big guys, even LeBron, I challenge the fact that LeBron is not going to be that tight end playing point guard that he has always been because we've been sitting around. And I'm not knocking LeBron. He's definitely one of the top 5 players in the history of the game.
Number 1.
Okay, top 3 players current.
Number 1.
And top 2 in the last 40 years. But I don't think and likely so, I don't think Jordan could have come out of a COVID environment. And without question, you just look at his career. You take some time off of, basically this is everybody's in an injury period. And they're not able to practice. So nobody comes back onto the court. Nobody will come back onto the field. No pitcher. I mean, a pitcher can be practicing. Oh, we didn't get to talk about the kid threw a ball 105 miles an hour. I don't know if you know about that one yesterday.
Doesn't everybody throw it 105 miles an hour now?
No. But the second fastest pitch ever. That was pretty cool when I read it. I thought it was another April Fool's joke.
What level? What level? Of
High
ball?
school.
Oh,
He got
high school.
He got
Never
drafted.
mind.
He got drafted by the Cubs.
I thought
Yeah.
you were talking pro. I'm going. Everybody
he got
100 miles
drafted
an
by
hour.
the Cubs, and
Wow.
I am so jealous. But a pitcher can practice
Yeah.
for the game. A batter really he can because somebody can actually throw batting
Right.
practice, but you're not having a Cy Young pitcher throw at you
Right,
in
right.
that same caliber. And and then on the football field, I mean, a running back can't get into running back shape if that
No.
season getting shortened. So I just say, my first question to you was, are we going to play? When do we play ball? And I guess I'm more of a pessimist than you are. I know it's in your heart. You're hopeful. I know we, the people, are very hopeful, and I want nothing more than. I mean, last night I watched last year's Wimbledon.
Oh yeah.
Okay, again.
Yeah.
And it was a great match
Wasn't that
because
supposed to start today?
that's why it was on. And I want sports, and I couldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
I couldn't turn it off because I've watched every movie.
Yeah.
So there's no new releases. So I go back to if I'm going to watch a repeat, I thought, well, you know what? That was a fantastic match. Djokovic and
Yeah.
Sampras. I'm not Sampras. He was in stance. But Federer. And that was a fantastic 5-set tennis match. And I even have hopes that we could watch tennis. But then even you said last week, Djokovic goes and gets COVID because he's in a nightclub, you bonehead. And, anyway, I hope things can be the way you dream there, young friend, for sports. And, well, there we go. Hey.
Well, I'll say this. You mentioned the movies. Here's the great thing about being in your early 20s. There is a back catalog of movies you haven't seen yet.
Okay.
So I've watched a bunch of them in the last, during quarantine. I finally got around to
So what was it? Your back? What did you call it?
back catalog.
Back catalog movie is Jake recommending today.
I watched Boogie Nights for the first time during quarantine.
That's not a back catalog.
Well,
that's
I saw it for the first time.
Okay,
during quarantine.
fair. Okay,
Yeah,
all
I'm,
right.
I'm saying back catalog. I was born in 1996, so
That's just all right.
So-
Just time out for 1 second. You just need to do 3-second quiet time out because
Okay.
Boogie Nights.
it's a great movie, man.
Shut up, man. It's like you can't do that. I know it's a great movie, but you were born when?
96.
God, I was already
I barely made the
already
cutoff.
3 years ago in a bar. Okay, Boogie Nights. What
December
other one?
96.
Give me another one.
What else? Chinatown. Finally watched
Okay.
Chinatown.
Okay.
Wow, that ending.
So this back catalog are movies that I can pick out for you. I mean, let's go back to the basics.
Okay.
Have you seen The Sting?
I have not seen The Sting.
All right, we're into the show.
Can
Nope, you cannot talk about another movie till
wait,
you
hold
go
on.
watch The Sting.
No, Paul Newman, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Paul Newman, Robert
And-
Redford.
yes.
Yeah. No, it's on the list.
Okay,
Listen, I've got
it's on your list
I've-
tonight.
I've got the list in
What do
front
you
of
have scheduled today, Mister? I don't have a job.
I do have a job. What do you think I'm doing?
I think we ought to help Jake kind of decide
All right.
what movies
Yeah,
are best.
help me
So we're looking for folks to comment what movies they think
go.
I didn't mean to
Jake
pick on you
should
there,
do
Job. I don't
for
have
his
a
back
job.
catalog
I don't have a
of
job,
what he
Jake,
should
so-
watch.
So yeah, what movies should Jake watch that are back catalog? I'm gonna go back
Yeah.
and say The Sting. It's
So-
one of those movies that there's a selection of movies that when they're on TBS, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing, I just hold
Yeah.
on, honey, I can't go do that for the next 45 minutes because I'm catching the last half of The Sting.
Yeah.
You watch it also just to hear the song because then it's in your head the rest of the day.
So here's the window. I was born in 96.
Stop
And
saying that.
And let's say, I guess I was watching, dumb kids movies until I was probably 10,
Okay.
12.
Oh, there's some good dumb kids movies though.
So really anything before 2006, 2007 is on the table. Now,
So
I've
anything
already-
before Facebook really is what it comes down
that,
to.
yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Social media day.
And
Nice
if-
segue out of the show.
and just to kind of set the parameters of movie taste, I think Pulp Fiction is the greatest movie of all time.
Okay.
And I think Forrest Gump is the most overrated movie of all time.
No, okay.
So
No, I'll
that's
give you that.
that's the kind of
No.
person I am. Because you kind of
Yeah, I see that now.
you judge someone's movie taste based on how they feel about the '94 Oscars. Are you a Pulp Fiction guy? Or are you a Forrest Gump guy? I am staunchly a Pulp Fiction guy. Hate Forrest Gump. So that's
Yeah.
that's what I am. as
Are
a
you
movie
guys
viewer.
familiar with the Wag the Tail or the Wag the Dog with Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman. If you've never seen that
It's been
one,
a long time since I've seen it.
you see that and you look at today's political environment and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's wagging the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tail is
I'll
wagging
put that
the
on the
dog.
list. Speaking of politics, I watched All the President's Men.
Okay.
Very good.
There you
very
go.
Good. Saw
There you
French
go.
French Connection was one of the
Okay.
movies I've seen during quarantine.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. I'm proud of you. But I'm just picking out one that I go back to I just came out of watching kids movies when I was a kid, which basically they were Disney movies because they're coming out, and we watched them on Saturday night, or Saturday night ABC was the Disney movie, whatever.
Yeah.
Before there was any Disney Channel, it's like you looked forward to whatever Disney movie was coming out because I'm a little older. And then, but I remember watching The Sting, and the original Poseidon Adventure was the first adventure movie that I remember with Gene Hackman. And they've remade it, but when you go back and watch the original one, it's funny watching those older movies though. When you watch adventure movies without CGI, you want to be like so dismissive of it. But it's hard. It's kind of because even the sets are kind of campy. The flames aren't even cool.
We were talking about Blade Runner before.
Yes,
and
perfect
how the
example.
first Blade Runner even
example.
Now I'll say this, for the time, the first Blade Runner does look pretty good.
It was
for
a
the
great
time.
storyline. So we can go all day with movies.
And Harrison Ford is top 5 all time, right? Just one of the coolest guys ever.
Yeah,
it's like Harrison Ford, Sean Connery. Clint Eastwood.
Which I go back to the Forrest Gump criticism of yours. Tom Hanks is one of the best actors of all time, and so his Forrest Gump, the role of Forrest Gump was also a phenomenal storyline that'll carry the test of time. Whereas Pulp Fiction was, to me, and I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. Okay, and that's one of those movies.
These are fighting words.
I know, but if that's one of those movies, if it's on and I'm on the couch on a Saturday afternoon, Pulp Fiction's on. It's one of those movies where you can watch two movies at the same time. If one movie goes to a commercial, because if you're watching, cable, and it goes to a commercial, you flip over to Shawshank and you'll watch that for a while, and then you go back when that's on a commercial, right? So Pulp Fiction is one of those movies, but I kind of fell off the quick Tarantino train. With the Kill Bill series and all that, because it just kind of lost me in the fact of it was
Wait,
just...
you fell off of Kill Bill?
Yeah,
man.
The whole glorifying the violence.
That's the best. That's awesome.
I understand.
That's awesome.
Okay, I came back to the glorifying the violence of the scene in Django Unchained.
Okay.
So that scene where you packed it all into one setting, I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
When the settings are all over the place, I'm like, come on. Now you're just trying to entertain us with the different settings. Everybody's going to get killed. But when everybody gets killed in a unique way in one setting, I really like that. Okay?
He's at the top of the stairs. He's got a pistol. He shoots her, and she just flies back from one pistol
Just the whole
shot.
idea of shooting Samuel L. Jackson, who was in Pulp Fiction, was a point where I came back to, good job, Tarantino. You segued me back together. That moment, that bullet brought the two movies together for me. So I think we're way out of time.
Wow, this was really interesting because it ended up starting out as supposed to be a sports day. We go into whole social media aspect of things.
Because it's social
We touch a
media
little bit
during
on the sports,
pandemic.
and then we go into the movies,
team is Tom
the
Brady
movie
playing
back
for?
catalog,
Bucks.
because there's so
And
many
who's-
things.
Who took Tom Brady's spot?
Cam Newton.
So there's my Super Bowl prediction. If there's right there, just for the controversy that'll happen.
I am gonna go
North versus the South, Boston versus Tampa, New Patriots, everybody. And I'm a Redskins fan going, hey, hold on. Let me ask you, a sports guy. Who's the quarterback for the Redskins?
Dwayne
Are you sure?
Haskins?
Are you sure?
Dwayne Haskins,
Are you
maybe?
sure?
The Washington professional football team.
Yeah, it's the Washington professional football team. Good job, South Park. All right, thanks everybody for being here today. Jake, fantastic, dude.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
RJ, good job in the booth back there, man. Mom did not say the sound was wrong. So that's an accomplishment today. And for everybody out there, enjoy your Tuesday.
Can't believe you don't like Kill Bill.
Stay rational, my friends.
Crazy. Not rational. Not rational at all. Kill Bill, come on.
Mm-hmm.